from the Voice Gathering Live podcast show. It is February the 26th, and we are live in the building. Hello, 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 hello. Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. So, I wanted to come and have a conversation with you guys. I want to give you a couple of minutes to get into the room and join me for this discussion as we end the very short month of the year, paying homage to Black History Month, and as well as kind of talking about some of the things that are standing out to me, maybe for you, when it comes to the footprints in the sand of our people before us and the paved way that they made for us to get where we are today. Actually, also where we're trying to go. So I wanted to talk about what my views are, what my feelings are as it relates to how I'm viewing Black history, how I am viewing our people upholding the ones before us and the legacy that they paid for us, the opportunities that they died for us. I want to just talk about that. I would tell you, as someone who is Black and not perfect, but recognize and is paying attention to a lot of things that's just not making sense to me. Therefore, I wonder if it's making sense for you. So I just want to just take a minute and look at this. I'm hoping that everyone can hear me loud and clear. And before we jump really into this conversation, let's just do a little bit of house cleaning so you know that if you got a notification, that means you already subscribed to the channel. If you aren't subscribed to the Voices Gathering Live podcast here on YouTube, please do me a favor, do yourself a favor, and click the subscribe button. Make sure that you are getting notifications when the bell goes off. That way you can be a part of this movement, this conversation, have a voice at the table, right? Get involved, be a part of the process, laugh with us, cry with us, share your views with us. And that's how you do it. Also, remember, you can follow this show on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter under Voices Gathering Live. My thoughts are really on this topic. I can't wait to open it up. I also want to share with you that this topic will continue with you having an opportunity to talk directly to me and my panel on Cocktails Confessions, which is a branch off in this show here, which happens on Sundays with my co-host. Please, by all means, definitely join the conversation. I'm going to give you the ID number for that chat with us on Sunday, which is the 28th of this month, and that is going to be 825-6401-7632. Again, the ID number for this Zoom conversation is 825-6401-7632. The password that I'm going to give you, which it always changes, is 192651. 192651. Hello, Mr. Lenny. So glad to see you in the comments. I wanted to be very honest with you and say that I wanted to open up this conversation with it being straight to Zoom so we all can talk. But I think the best way to do this is for me to get all of my thoughts and views out there. And that's not going to happen in one show. But then welcome you. If something resonates with you, welcome you to come and be a part of the conversation as I've given you on the Zoom platform. Which is all this is the same show on Zoom, so that you can now take your little notes down, chime in about what you want to share and talk about, or what you want to rebuttal, or it's something you want to add to the conversation. Come and join us. It gets really fun, exciting, educational. there's a lot of layers to this show, and I just can't wait till it grows into what it's supposed to be. And that will be with you guys sitting there. So, with no further ado, Black history, Black history, Black history, Black history. And some of my comments are going to overlap on Sunday. So, Black history. I'm looking at something here on my desk, and it says, don't compromise yourself. You are all you got. There is no yesterday, no tomorrow. It's all the same day. Very true. And with that being said, my view about people. Now listen, because it's Black History Month, I'm talking about right now for this show specifically, I'm talking about my people, my race of people. And you can chime in on how other races or within our own race is undoing the footprints of those before us. See, for there to be a footprint, that means someone was there. For there have to be a footprint, that means someone was there already. And what I'm feeling in my gut, what I observed within our own race of people, that we are undoing some of our own footprints. Here where I'm coming from. So when I look at us as a race, right? I oftentimes look at ourselves, our people, with this scratching of the head, asking myself, why are my people making this decision? Why are we choosing to go this route? Why aren't we supportive of one another? Why are we quick to cut someone down who's trying to come up? Why are we so judgmental of one another? I just wonder that. Now listen, that's not to say that these kind of things weren't happening back when the footprints of our ancestors and those before us had went through. Yes, I'm sure this goes across many generations. But when we think about those before us, and we can think of many who've carved out a space for us to make a space for those coming behind us, how are we upholding that? And I know some people are going to look at this show and say, well, other race, white people, and this person and that person has been oppressing us as a people. I'm not saying that they haven't. I'm not saying that other races have not put their foot on our neck, their knee in our neck, as we can closely remember to George Floyd. I'm not saying that they haven't done that. I'm talking about what we are doing. What is our role? There's a lot of people out there like really trying to get the movement going, getting some gas in the tank, trying to propel this thing forward. But I can't help but think about what more could we be doing? What more are we doing to change the narrative of what Black history really means for us as a people? What are we really, really doing? Let's start with this. Are you working with your own people and they seem to be blocking your growth? Are you? Are you in a relationship with someone of your own people who puts you down, right? I mean, just puts you so far down that you can't get up, but they're still being treated by the same kind of people at work. So let's use this hypothesis that somebody who's white, non-Black, is got their foot on the person's neck. And when they come home into the relationship where you are, the person they're with got their foot on the person's neck. You get where I'm coming from? I'm trying to paint a picture by saying to you that how is it that we are hurting one another? How are we the ones to put each other down so fast When we know that when we walk out of our doors, we are faced with oppression. We are faced with judgment. We are ridiculed by people who don't come from where we come from, don't look like we look. How is that happening? And what are we doing different? What are we doing different? Why are we still faced with those kind of adversities? Why is that happening from our own people? I was watching, I was moved by the passing of Cicely Tyson. And I say all that to say, when Cicely Tyson passed, and I've always been a fan of Cicely Tyson, always. I remember when I was in school and I watched the autobiography of Jane Pittman. And when I remember watching this autobiography, I was so moved because in school, the schools wasn't teaching us our true history. It was very watered down. It was very mundane. It was just not of substance at all, at all. And at that time, I as a child, I didn't understand it. You just was like, oh, this is history. But then there was these things that were coming up and coming up and coming up and coming up and coming up. And you was like, but this is what they teach us in school, because we entrusted that the school would give us the education that we now have the right to, which they did not, absolutely did not do that at all. They didn't do that at all. So myself, started seeing certain things and reading certain things and provided certain information, i.e. the autobiography of Jane Pittman, the Alice Walker book Roots. I'm sorry. She did The Color Purple. Just all of these things start coming. You was like scratching your head, or I would scratch my head and be like, well, wait a minute. This just doesn't make sense. I know that my people were oppressed. I know that we didn't have opportunities that we should have had. I know that my race of people were great creators of certain things, yet that came out much later. You heard little bit of things, but then you found out all this other wealth of information that we actually as a people were pioneers in. And I'm like, well, why is that? Why we aren't taught that? We were told about all these other people, white people, but we weren't told about our people enough to really instill and anchor us to say that, gosh, we are really of a great people. Hello, people in the chat. Lenny, Lakeisha, Kofi, thank you for being here. So when I, as a child, again, saw that autobiography of Jane Pittman, of a 110-year-old woman from child, of course, who was born into slavery, remained on the plantation where her master had once owned her, but then she was given her freedom to some degree. I'm like, well, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Is this really what history is really like? You can't drink from the water fountain. You can't do this. You can't go there. You can't do this. You just can't. You can't. So let's just move the clock a little bit more forward. So when I saw that, and then I look at today, and I scratch my head in frustration because I become so annoyed with some of the things I see within our own people that we do to our own people. The way we depict ourselves to people, the way we portray ourselves, it goes on and on and on and on. I become very frustrated when I look at this stuff out there. Now, please understand when I say to you that I don't claim to be perfect in my walk as a Black woman, but I do not degrade myself as a Black woman. So, i.e., I become annoyed when I see my people, be it Black men or women, start to degrade themselves. I have a right to look at my people as they have a right to look within us, myself, and say, oh, well, come on, how can we represent our people better than we are representing ourselves? Because I would tell you this, I am flabbergasted by what the representation I see of us in social media. I am just appalled. Appalled. I'm appalled. How is it that we already got the shortest month, 28 days, right? 28 days. And we share that holiday with Valentine's Day. How ironic, love. But yet there is a lack of thereof within our own people towards one another. See, I want to remind you that today's show is not about looking outside of Black history and saying that, yeah, we've been oppressed. Yep, I said that. Yeah, we don't have fair chance. Yep, I said that. Yeah, we have created great things in this world that people benefit from that we don't get credit for. Yep, I say that. But this Black history conversation is about looking within our people. Within our people to take some accountability for where we are and how we are changing the narrative once again for those who are coming behind us. The footprints in the sand of those who came before us are great embedded footprints. And I am concerned that those footprints are being kind of washed away. And they don't have to be. They don't have to be. See, we're going to talk more about this on Sunday's show, too, because we're going to delve more in about how, for an example, reality television, Atlanta Housewives, Love and Hip Hop, Black Ink, and all these other entertainment shows that people say we shouldn't really be taking so literally and try to mimic in our lives to say this is something to look up to. Yet it's all you see all day, every day. And there are people who don't have the really whereabouts, the knowledge to say this is fiction, this is scripted stuff, and this really is just for entertainment purposes only. There are people who are full adult people looking at this content of entertainment and said that, well, this, I should be able to do this because this is how they made it. This is how that person became wealthy, rich, popular, whatever you want to call it. Our people. This is about looking within, and taking accountability. I wonder, for those who are watching the show, what do you think? What do you think when you look at those before us? Cicely Tyson, Malcolm X. Oh my God. Oh my gosh. I can go on and on and on. Marcus Garvey. I can go on and on and on. What do you think about today's people, our people today? We're talking about this newer generation of people. And let's say, honestly, let's go from the 80s up into now. From the 80s up into now. Looking at what's different. What are your concerns about what you see within the Black race? And for my non-Black and brown people, understand that if you are white, if you think back or look back on history, there were white people standing with Black people so that they can get ahead. The Underground Railroad, there were a lot of white people in there helping Black peoples get from one place to one place to one place to one place. Can I just share with you that when I was a child and hear about the Underground Railroad, I literally thought that that's what it was. This is how they did not teach you your Black history. I thought that there was some Underground Railroad thing there that they got on a train, kind of like we get on a train and go through a tunnel. That's how Black people were getting out of slavery. That's sad. It's absolutely sad and disgusting that our own history wasn't taught to us to understand the difference. That no, that's not what the Underground Railroad meant. And I don't know if anybody in the chat that is any race ever remember hearing that. I didn't know that until I got older. And it's quite disappointing because that should have been something that I got when I was young. But nevertheless, There were white people standing with our people to free us, to help us be free, to stand up for us, to the point that some of them almost lost their own lives because they were carving away, making plans to help free Black people. Now, I know some people in the chat may say, well, they don't get a gold star for doing that because they were the one to oppress us. Every white person wasn't the one to oppress us. There was a race of white people that was that oppressed Black people. There was a race of white people that did that. But there were some white peoples who died for what they knew to be right. So you may say, well, what do you think when you look at the Black race? Do you think, although some Black people will probably say, well, I don't give a damn what you think, to a non-Black person. I don't care what you think. And maybe that's good to some degree, and maybe it's not. I mean, you don't take on what they think to the point that you want to be so consumed with it that you lose focus about what your mission is, who you are. Right, not that. But are you considering what they're thinking? Because I have white friends, let's be clear. And if my white friend, they will probably not be so comfortable to say to me that, wow, why does Black people act that way? Yet I'm thinking, why are my people acting this way? Why? Why are my people acting this way? Tamika Mallory, she is a advocate for Black people. I follow her on Instagram. I absolutely love what this woman stands for as far as fairness for Blacks, the killing of our people, and how she go out there and protest. I want to make sure I give you the right information, so I don't want to give the wrong information. So bear with me. Let's make sure we turn this down so we don't get any feedback. Yes, Tamika Mallory. It's TAMIKAMALLORY. When I tell you that this woman is phenomenal at fighting for justice for people of color, right? And fairness. I'm bringing her up for a specific reason, because she's great at what she does. But do you believe that a person who's fighting for the rights of people could also listen, for an example, or entertain ratchet television? Do you think that someone who's out on the front lines marching and protesting and representing people and fair equality, defunding the police, do you believe those people could still be people who are entertained by reality television? Or, for an example, listening to the song WAP, by Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion. Do you think that, is there a contradiction there? Because I can tell you that I listened to Tamika talk one day, and she was talking about how she's getting a lot of very ugly comments when people hear that she likes this song. What are your thoughts about that? Let's just check out this. Hold on. I think that within the Black community, there is less activism, awareness, and togetherness in comparison to its past. We also don't hold one another accountable as much as we did. Yes, Eric. And it's so good to see you, Eric. Haven't seen you in a while. Glad to see you here tonight. Okay. Yes, she is the best. No holds bar. Not afraid to say what it is. Yep, absolutely. She is freaking phenomenal. Phenomenal. But I want you to, if any of you know who she is, and if you don't even have to know who she is, my example is, if someone is a great speaker for the Black people, advocating for what's right, pointing out what's wrong, Do you think there's a contradiction in that when those people are entertained by, again, Meg Thee Stallion, Cardi B singing songs like WAP? And I am not about to tell you what WAP stands for. If you don't know what it is, just go look it up and tell me what you think. I kind of want to hold my thoughts about it and tell you what I think about it, but I want you to ponder on that thought. And I would invite you to join the Cocktails Confession conversation via Zoom and tell me what you think. Share your voice. I want us to exchange a dialogue of conversation. That's something that I can't wait to hear what your thoughts are. So again, Tamika is out there advocating. Oh my goodness. I am reading this book here. Oh. When I tell you beautiful picture, just as I am Cicely Tyson. When Miss Tyson died, they was like, I didn't hear about this book until after her death. I immediately could not wait to get it. And I got it and I just started reading it. And in the introduction, profound. Her early awareness on roles she would take, profound. And I am concerned that the profound work that Miss Tyson and many others have done, that footprint that she left, will slowly be washed away through or as a result of our own people. I said it and I stand by it. I do. Again, it doesn't say that our own people are not doing something to have a legacy for those coming behind us. But I'm telling you, I am concerned about our people, what we are doing now to erase the Black history that we have. That's an oxymoron. You cannot be about the people and watch or engage in the things that people portray the opposite. I agree, Eric. You get where I'm coming from. Come on. What are your other thoughts in there, people? I mean, Eric you get me. I think it's a big oxymoron. I think that is absolutely crazy. I will go more in depth on Sunday's show. Hopefully you'll join me. But now, mind you, I just said that I like Tamika. But I truly believe that erases some of the DNA footprint of the people behind us. When you have such a great platform, and when I tell you that this woman is moving things, and I still like her, I don't like the fact that she finds entertainment in something that's so, to me, degrading. I just do. I do. These, Meg Thee Stallion, a Black woman, Cardi B, a minority woman, are culture shifters. They are shifting what the culture looks like through the entertainment they put out. I'm not saying that we need to be holding hands singing Kumbaya. I'm not saying that. No. I'm not saying that we need to be singing old slave hymns. I'm not saying that. But I am saying that I don't believe you can have the fight for justice and the people and be out in social media with such a great platform, and yet people see you entertained by our own people kind of negative narrative that they put out there. So she says that, for an example, I heard Tamika Mallory speak, and she was saying how she is moved by the women who are taking their power and doing what they want to do and saying what they want to say. I'm for that. But I do question, why do their power have to be in that way? It's my judgment. Yeah. I'm judging it. I am. I'm absolutely judging it. But again, if you have such a talent, a gift, why aren't you using that gift in a different way? Why is it so? It just does not shine a good light on us as a people. I'm sorry, it doesn't. So if they like a certain kind of music, there's nothing wrong with that. Wait, let me go back. Rob says they're advocates on not they're advocates, not nuns. Entertainment is entertainment. Okay. So if they like certain kind of music, there's nothing wrong with that. To some degree, I absolutely agree with you. There's nothing wrong with you liking a certain kind of music. No, not at all. But again, hand in glove. If it doesn't fit, it doesn't fit. It doesn't. Let me get my people right. When Mahalia Jackson, famous gospel singer, was making music, and she was singing what she believed. So she was making music, and on the back end, she was an advocate. She was a someone who was doing free concerts and appearances to raise money for the movement that Dr. Martin Luther King and all of those civil rights people, the civil rights movement, people were doing. So her platform represented her beliefs represented her platform, and it was a continuity of what she was standing for. I believe that our people stand for anything and fall for anything. Not everybody. Not everybody. Not everybody. Not everybody. Because I know some people are going to have some views about this. They're going to say, well, wait a minute, that's not everybody. I agree. Not everybody. But to Rob's comment that entertainment is entertainment. It is. But how far do you allow entertainment to take you to the point it hurts a people? Because listen, let's be clear. From the beginning of time to right now, when a racist person looks at a black person, they clump all black people together. They don't separate, oh, this is a good black person. That's a racist person see all black people as one. So when we have our shifters in social shifters in the entertainment business, whatever kind of genre that they're in, putting this narrative out there that says this is how we think, how we see ourselves, this is what we value, this is who we are. To the point that there was a time when we didn't have anything. We took the scraps off the master's table to make a meal. Now, in the 20th century, we have people of color being able to be billionaires, millionaires. And if you look on social media, you see this thing where they're flashing all the diamonds, the grilled out. There's nothing wrong with treating yourself. Listen, I like to treat myself. There's nothing wrong with that. But they earn that money, not all the people, but a lot of them earn their money on exploiting people as a race. Some of them do. Let's see what we have here. They're using their gifts to sell records. They are chasing the bag. I agree, Kofi. So they're using their gift to sell records, which only means they're using their gift to make a profit. It is not about raising an awareness for some. It's about the bag. About getting the bag so that you can buy Hermes bag, an $80,000 bag. Our people buy their music. We buy their music. We make them rich. The very content of stuff you're listening to, you're like, oh, you can't listen to that when you talk to your children. And some people, many people, let their kids listen to it as well. Oh, you can't listen to this grown folk stuff. Yet you buy the music, download the music, go buy the CD, whatever you're buying. And what you end up doing is you put that money in their bag and they go buy an $80,000, $100,000 bag. Cardi B bag collection with Hermes is outstanding. Listen, not jealous, would love to have some of those bags because I like a nice, good bag. But to what degree am I willing to get an Hermes bag? Selling their bodies and sex to make money. All these girls look at is they're trying to eliminate the actions, thinking they can make it like Cardi B and Meg. Yes, I agreed. They have no standards, no morals. WAP exists. Agreed. And if you are gifted about things uplifting your people, you're not going to do that because it will not. Absolutely. Okay, people, you guys are getting me. You're feeling where I'm coming from. And I think I have to kind of put this disclaimer out there. I'm not talking that every black person who is rapping or who is doing whatever is all about not having a positive impact on the culture, on the community. But I'm telling you that I truly see not a lot of it. Not a lot of it. All you have to do, and many of us do this, is just use your phone. Just scroll. From Twitter to Snapchat to Instagram to just scroll and you'll see. Yet, many of us are complaining they don't recognize us enough. They give us the shortest month to say that this is Black History Month. See, there is no Black History Month just for me. Every month is Black History Month. There is why I'm frustrated when I see my people don't want to help one another, have nothing good to say to one another, a lot of times just because you hate. Now listen, there's some of my people get on my nerves, and I get on their nerves. Because that's called being human. That's what that is. It's being human. We don't always get along. But what we're talking about is undoing the footprints of those before us. Keep on talking. I wanted to just kind of bring up something. Okay, I see where it is. Let me just check with yours before I read this. Okay, doing the racist acts that transpired during the 2020. No major rapper R&B singer made an album to reflect, come on now, what took place. But drugs, sex, violence. Yes, absolutely. 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 Yet, some of our people are still standing up saying, Breonna Taylor, Trayvon Martin, George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, all these different people. We want to say these names, but I bet you if you go through if you go through their feeds, look at stuff that they put up, you'll be like, well, wait a minute. Let's take a pause right there for a second. I remember when they were rioting in Atlanta, and I can't think of the other rapper. Oh, I like him too. Killer Mike. I think his name is Killer Mike. Somebody look up for Killer Mike for me. Killer Mike. Killer Mike and now this guy's name escaped me. T.I. So they go and stand with the mayor of Atlanta. And they're asking for peace and for people to calm down and cut all of this burning the city down and destroying their stores and stuff. They're asking for all of these different things, right? And T.I. is up there talking. Now, What do we hear about T.I.? What are we hearing? Now, allegedly, T.I. is involved in some kind of scandal, he and Tiny, as it relates to giving drugs to women, holding them against their will, yada, 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 yada. And I believe these women are women of color. Now, if I can remember correctly, T.I. came out and went on his live via Instagram or something like that, and he says that, which was a little interesting to me, that what we do or what we did was consensual. It was okay. That it was agreed upon all people. Like, well, what you did. Now, if it's agreed upon, I have nothing to say about what you do in your bedroom. But this friend of Tiny's is saying a different tune. She may have her reasons, but she put it out there. And I'm hearing, allegedly, not only is this woman talking about other women. So again, I bring up T.I. because he was standing before a magnitude of people, because he was also on the news talking live to the people about calm down and don't burn down your city. But there's a contradiction in that for me when you are doing this thing on the side that's supposed to be behind closed doors, and now guess what? It's on Front Street. Now, I'm going to say allegedly because I don't know, he hasn't been convicted in any kind of courts. But this is what I mean about undoing the footprints. Why is it that Coretta Scott King, Cicely Tyson, Muhammad Ali, these people stood up, and I'm talking more relative that people can remember some of these names. Because when you go back digging into the graves of our ancestors, a lot of us don't even know those names, because guess what? Again, they weren't taught to us. We don't study or look to know who are the pioneers before us that paved the way that we are not paying homage to. I am not talking about Biggie Smalls. No disrespect. Love me some Biggie. He was a good entertainer, but I looked at Biggie as an entertainer. There are people who do not know how to not look at people as role models and keep them in the category that they belong in as entertainment. You see what I'm saying? This is what I mean about undoing the footprints of our people. This is what I mean. So I'm not talking about I'm talking about, let's talk about some more close names, close names that we can talk about. It's concerning. I have two great nieces, as recent as the 24th. My niece became a mom. And I just think, oh my goodness, what would this world be for her? And my other great niece, what would this world be for many of my viewers in the chats who have young children, preteens, not even teenagers yet, children? If we continue to accept the new footprints that people are leaving. Because I'm telling you, the new footprints that we see, people are looking at these footprints and saying, you know what? Oh, the bag, I'm getting the bag, I'm getting the bag, I'm getting the bag. That becomes the narrative for the people coming behind us. And sadly to say, those who are looking at the same age bracket saying, oh, I need to get the bag. See, this is not new, because I understand back then there was a time where people sold drugs to put food on the table. Now people sell drugs to put a chain around their neck. Our people. There was a time that people stole from a store because they could not feed their family. Now people steal from the store so that they can look the part, but they still live in an area that does not represent what they're trying to look like. You get where I'm coming from? I know I know people are going to have a problem with this conversation. But as John Lewis said, and thank you for his service. Thank you for his service, for what he did before he lost his life to cancer. Thank you for what he did. He said, let's start stirring up some good trouble. Be of good trouble. So this is not going to sit well with some people. They're going to be like, well, who does she think she is? And yada, yada, yada. And they can. And I invite those same exact people to be bold enough to join the Cocktails Confession conversation via this platform on Sunday, this Sunday coming up, February the 28th at 7:30. And the ID, again, is 825-6401-7632. And the password is 192651. I invite you to come and have the conversation and tell me what you agreed or disagreed with. But I know that some people are going to be very frustrated. And see, also, because I talk with such passion, to some people probably viewing this show would say, she's mad. Well, I am annoyed, i.e. the topic we're talking about. I'm annoyed, absolutely annoyed. I'm not mad. I don't think mad is going to get me anything. But I'm annoyed. I am very, very annoyed. We have to do better. We are quick to want to point out the oppression of other people, but yet we won't point out the oppression oftentimes given to us by our own people. I just don't think we can stand it. I think that some of us feel like, well, I should be able to do what I want to do and say what I want to say. And true, absolutely true. But you can't be saying it and then trying to look a certain image in front of another group of people. Like, you can't be saying, oh, my people, when you are putting out material that kind of degrade your people. You can't be talking about sex trafficking, yet you harbor people and keep them from leaving because of your own sexual desires. No. Let's make it a little bit more personal. When you go to work and we as Black people got a Black boss, and you feel that Black boss foot on your neck, like, where is you blocking me from getting up the ladder? So when you block me from getting up the ladder, I can't reach down and pull up the next person up the ladder. That's happening within our own people every day on every level, from McDonald's to the White House. And we're not talking about Obama's administration, although it probably happened. We're not talking about, we're talking about it all. It's happening. I don't want you to say it because I want to get the accolades for it. I don't want you to do it because I want to be seen as the one know it all. I don't know. So I wanted to just point out something. So I keep putting on my readers and then taking them off. So talking about all this, and then me also sharing with you this beautiful gem, gem. Listen, please do me a favor. I want to say, buy this book. I don't see how you would be disappointed in buying the book. I just don't see how you would be. But please buy this book and buy two and gift a copy to somebody else. Just, the picture in itself is beautiful, which I would have this picture hanging in my office. But I wanted to read a little piece of what was in this book. Very small piece, just to talk about how it relates to me talking about Black history and then also looking within our own people. Cicely Tyson had did this movie in 1974 called Sounder. Sounder was based on when I did the history, based on a Charles book. And it was about a black family during the Depression. A father, mother. I'm so sorry, I cannot think of the gentleman who played the father, but he's well-known actor. And Cicely Tyson played the character role of Rebecca. So this movie is on the grounds of a black family going through the Depression on this land, and the father commits a crime. And he commits this crime when he can't feed his family. The family's going hungry. The Sounder is the name of their dog, and the father and his eldest son goes at nighttime looking for raccoon because that's what they ate. They were skinned animals, and that would be their food of substance. So he and his son goes at night to look for food for the family, and when he's unable to capture this food, this animal, the next day the children are hungry and things like that, and he goes. Thank you so much, Paul Winfield. Come on, Kofi. Thank you so much. He goes and he commits a crime. He robs this store, and the kids wake up the next day and they smell food and mom is cooking. Now, mind you, Rebecca, played by Cicely Tyson, is looking kind of puzzled because she'd know darn well that they went to bed hungry and didn't have this food. Where did you get it from? And she's asking him. And he said he did what he had to do. And remember, I talked about a little synopsis about how there is a difference in you. And I'm not saying it's right, but it kind of I understand it, that you go rob a store and you steal from a store bread or butter, whatever it is you did to put food on the table, i.e. people robbing just to get the money to go buy themselves some shoes. Anyway, I digress. Sorry. So he goes to the store, he robs the store, he gets this food, he comes home, mom is cooking it, she wonders where he gets it from. They're out they're tending to the fields, and all of a sudden this white man, sheriff, and these other men come to take him in because they know he robbed. And Cicely Tyson's character, Rebecca, does everything she needs to do because he was locked up for a period of time. Because back then you would go to the convenience store and get things on credit. And when it was during the Depression and slavery time, if you were lucky enough to own something, well, your way of paying back the credit was you would tend into the other people's fields to pay your debt off, right? So when the character talks to his son, Paul Winfield talks to his son, and Rebecca talks to her son, you can see the closeness, the love between a family unit of a black family and what they were trying to do to make sure that their children behind them had something. So going to Cicely Tyson's book, when she was out promoting the movie, she talked about a situation that she came up against when she actually had ran into a reporter. So bear with me. She says, before Sounder was released, I traveled across the country on many promotional tours with some of the other cast members. From San Francisco to Boston, Indianapolis to Richmond, reporters previewed the film, gathered to interview me about the production. It was during my stop in Philadelphia that the earth quaked. Among a group of reporters stood a Caucasian gentleman, auburn hair and around age 30. He cleared his throat and lifted his microphone to his lips and locked his gaze on me. I was impacted of what I would hear and what he would reveal. I never thought to myself as I began as being the least bit prejudiced. This is what Cicely Tyson said. He said, as I watched the film, I could not believe the son was calling his father daddy. That is what my son calls me. Silence blanketed the room. So I want to pause right there. So Cicely Tyson again talks about coming in encounter with that guy, and he says he was profound, and I'm using that word, to hear the character, the boy, call his father, Paul Winfield, character daddy. I am silenced because, first, I already know what Cicely Tyson said, and I'll tell you that, but that white man was shocked to hear a black boy call his father daddy. I don't know what he was expecting him to call. I'm curious what he expected him to call, but he was shocked. He was absolutely shocked. So I paused there because I asked that you take a moment to think about what you watch on television and what you see when you see a supposedly family system, mother, father, and children in the black community, and how they interact with one another. Where some children are parentified, I think it's parentified, and the father and mother become the friend, i.e. a child sometimes, and the child becomes the adult. You'll make all the connections of how I'm hoping that you will weave this black history and our people and our views of one another and how we do or do not help one another, the roles we play in the family system and our own people. You'll probably start connecting the dots a little bit. All right, so I just said that part. She went on. Well, child, I tell you, my mouth fell open like a pocketbook. As the man's words surrendered me, I forced a smile, but all the while I was thinking, my Lord, how appalling. This man clearly knew nothing about our shared humanity. He had no understanding of God's ultimate creation of his place next to yours and mine in a colorful family mosaic. From his perspective, there had to be something radically wrong with a black child calling his father daddy, in term he thought reveals for his own kind. How could Nathan, one declared 3/5 of human by the Caucasian people, be worth such an endearment? Okay. Y'all stand with me? How could that fraction of a man stand forehead to forehead with him? That would put Nathan is the character that was played by Paul Winfield. That would put Nathan on par with all those born into privilege of whiteness, as he had been. I don't know what stunned me more, the fact that the man believed what he did, or that he had the audacity to say it out loud. After a lengthy pause, I regained my composure and my tongue. I have to congratulate you, sir, she said. My tongue tingled with sarcasm. It takes a lot of courage to stand up here in the midst of your peers and admit you never thought that you were prejudiced until you saw the film. Thank you. I tell you, to call him out with the sarcasm, I don't think we do that enough with our own people, and not even using sarcasm to do it. When we do wrong, we should be able to point. I think that we have a obligation as a people to point out. Now, she did it in a way to a white man, yet we give a pass within our own people to continue to put shenanigans out there, to put this ugly content out there for us to feed on. And people don't think that we should be mad. We should not be angry. We should not be upset about it. And I think we have every right to be upset and frustrated. When you know better, you can do better. And that's true. But I don't know all people. I haven't talked to all people. So I know what I'm thinking is when you know better, we can do better. But why aren't we doing better? Do you think that we are further ahead than we are back? And I'm talking about within our own people. This is not about what they're doing to us. We know that. We see it day in, day out. But we must be accountable. As Eric said earlier, we must be accountable. There's an accountability. And we have a responsibility to hold people accountable. Now, I'm not saying that you need to go out there and risk your life. No. But there are some people out there doing that. They are. The sad thing is we don't get to hear about those people too often. We get to hear about all the stupidity, but nothing of substance. I believe that we have an accountability to hold people, a responsibility, to hold people accountable. And we can start with, when you know there is unfairness on your job, is to hold those people accountable by using the chain of command, by using whatever tools that's affordable to you to hold people accountable. We have an accountability within our family system that when the family system is not representing the culture, the ethnic group, there's a responsibility to hold them accountable. See, my nephew could not walk around me with using derogatory language, with his pants hanging down, not representing himself as a young black man. I'm going to hold you accountable. I'm going to say, don't you think that's inappropriate? Don't you think that you could look better if you pull your pants up? Don't you know that you can speak better than you are speaking and speak with and articulate and speak with common sense opposed to speaking like, thank goodness my nephew doesn't speak that way in front of me. And he knows better to wear his pants down. And he's grown. He's a father. But he's still my nephew. I'm always going to be his aunt. He's going to be my nephew. And I have a couple of nephews. It would not be acceptable. And here's the thing. If he had chose that and he could not appreciate or accept my pulling him up so that he can have a better chance and then present a better chance for his daughter, then we can't be around each other. We can't be around each other. There's no reason for me to accept that what you are doing and the way you are depicting us as a people is acceptable. No. Absolutely not. My friend likes the fact that his son calls him by his name. He says that my son knows my friend roles and father roles. They are close. Who am I to judge? Right. And again, thank you for putting that out there, Kofi. I believe a mother and a father, a mother and a daughter, and a father and a son can have a friendly relationship. But I think there's a fine line when that friendly relationship blurs the line of I'm the father, the mother, you are the daughter, the son. Because we do know some people that those relationships where father and son and you're my best friend, and it loses its position of I am the father, the mother, and you are the child. See, I don't care how old my mother gets. I'm still the child. I'm an adult child, but I'm still her child, his child. And there is a way to speak to you in that position. I love being around old people. It gives me some substance. Now, there's some old people, honey, that I'm like, what is wrong with you? Like, don't feed me that. But there's a great number of old people that just peel off a layer of substance for me. And I love it. People say, Diamond, you got an old soul. And I say, thank you so much. I would not trade my old soul for a youthful soul. Now, I know how to have fun and have a good time. But to give up my enriched old soul, no. You can keep that. You rock that soul. I'll keep my old soul. Because I think that right now we are in a very bad place. I think as people, we're in a bad place and we can do better. I think we can absolutely do better if we want to do better. And I think many of us know better but don't choose to do better. I understand environment shapes our behaviors. Relationships shapes our behaviors. It shapes who we are. But we can do better, and we can create a new path for those who stand beside us and those to come behind us, that we can do something different. We don't have to go back in time. And I feel like we're almost going back in time, but the oppressor is sometimes our own people. I think that sometimes, not all the time, but I do. I think that sometimes we are oppressing our own people. We are painting a very ugly, distorted picture about what it means to make it, to be successful, to be relevant. We're losing focus of who we are or who we are meant to be because we're chasing something that really isn't true. I'm concerned. I created this platform here to have a great time and have laughter and most importantly, to have a platform where I can share my thoughts and opinions and strike up a conversation with the viewers who watch this show and agree to disagree, but come out learning something that I didn't come in it with. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to create voices gathering together so that we can talk and learn and teach and change the narrative. That's what I wanted to do. And in the same token, have fun doing it. Have fun doing it. We perpetuate the negative narrative of our people. We do. And all for the dollar. You want to use this for an example. So, and I don't care what people think. When you learn to speak your truth, no one can rob you of your truth. No one can create a narrative for you. You're speaking your own truth. People are making it rich by selling their souls. I can't get $1 or $2 trying to create a healthy conversation. People will skip over this podcast show or give it a thumbs down because it's not relevant to the movement of our today. It's not. It ain't happening. This is not the hot thing. This is not the hot thing. Nobody don't care about this. Figure speech. No one cares about this. You're not dogging people. You're not an OnlyFans page. You're not showing us nothing. Every word coming out your mouth is not derogatory. You're not slandering people enough. You're not giving it up. You're not giving us that thing. So people would skip over this and not even want to make a contribution or give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down, because give it a thumbs down with a healthy explanation. You know, some people give it a thumbs down because I don't like what you're saying. You're talking about us black people. Thumbs down. I'm not gonna contribute $5, let alone $20 to your platform, because that's not where the entertainment is. People are more entertained by the negativity of it all than the unity of what could be. So I think we have an obligation, when we pay attention to our history and those footprints and those individuals who gave us such treasures: Martin, Malcolm, Muhammad, Rosa, Harriet, and on, John Lewis, and Barack. Yeah, Barack was the first black president. He has contributed to this situation, to this narrative. We need to pay attention. I know someone that's in the chat that's reading his book and says it's really good. And we'll be talking about that later on a different show. Cicely, Oprah. Listen, because I'm reading these people's names, they weren't perfect. Nobody is perfect. But they gave us great stuff. And I'm just wondering, are we using those treasures to enrich those behind us? Okay, guys, thank you so much. Thank you. I know, again, this was probably not what some of you wanted to hear me talk about. But, again, as I read to you on my little good Women's of Substance calendar, don't compromise yourself. You are all you got. You are not yesterday, nor are you tomorrow. It's all the same day. So remember, no pressure, no diamonds. We got to put the pressure on to get what we want out of what we want. And if we stay the course, remember that it's ours for the taking, and we don't have to settle for what people are shoving down our throat. And we can actually add to our Black history that will be richer than rich and of great legacy. So please do me a favor. Join me on Sunday with my panel as we talk about the undoing of footprints as it relates to social media and all its negative content. I actually challenge you. I was going to use the word dare, but I challenge you to write down that PIN and ID number and come in. You don't have to be on camera. You can just turn your mic on if you want. And if you're bold enough, turn your camera on. Let people see your voice. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate your time. I hope that you would join me again on Friday at 7 o'clock. Also, join me on Sundays for Cocktail Confessions. If you like yourself a glass of wine or a strong drink, I'm not opposed to that. I'm not holier than thou. I want you to come back and definitely be with me on Sunday. Also, let me give you a little thing here. Join me for our first live game night. It's going to be on Zoom. It's going to be called The Voting Game. You'll hear more about that on Sunday. Definitely come and join the game. It's going to be fun. You'll get to kind of think how people think about people, even if they don't really truly know them. All right, people. Thanks again. I'll see you next week for a Friday show, but I'll see you Sunday for Cocktails Confession. Until next time, remember, be good to one another, because that's what my plan is for you. Bye-bye.